Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your boy Brandon, and I am just thrilled and excited about everything that's happening, man. And I definitely wanted to come and address a few things. Some of the things that I might say in this video will probably make a few people uncomfortable and everything, and that is not the case with this video. This video is to do some comparisons for you guys. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about this and waiting for a while. As we are waiting for the arrival of the BlackDish and everything that we're doing, it was already planned for us to come out and do some videos to show you some comparisons, to show you what it does, to show you raw images, to show everybody, because I understand change and I understand a few things. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to answer a few questions. I'm going to put some things to heart, and then we're going to do some shooting. So first thing is, why did I create the BlackDish? So the BlackDish was created to give photographers not just another tool in their bag. It's something that this modifier can do that no other modifier can do. And I continue to make that claim because of a few things that I'm going to explain to you that may be able to give you a better understanding of why I say that. I'm saying that because for the first time almost in photography history, we have created a beauty dish that creates a more softer, pleasing light than any other modifier. People honestly don't really want to admit it. They would rather see, kind of like their comments up in lights, create videos without ever even using the BlackDish versus other modifiers. But I ask all of you this simple question. If all of you photographers, if you take a silver beauty dish with a silver interior, and you take a BlackDish. Say for instance, you turn your flash to half power. From just using your expertise, taking self out of it, just using your expertise, which modifier will look better straight out of camera? Which will have a lot more pleasing light? Which will look more overexposed and more harsh? Which one will look a lot more diffused and more soft? You can answer that question, but you won't. Now, I make the claim about softer light. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. What is soft light? Soft lighting is a type of light with few hard shadows that's bright yet balanced. In soft lighting, the transition between light and the shadows is more of a gradient. It's much smoother. It transitions better. When your subject is bathed in soft light, there will be little to no shadows on their face. And if there is a shadow, it is not as dark as they are in shadows cast in hard light. Think of soft light like this. Think of it as how things look on a cloudy day or an overcast day, with the clouds creating a layer of diffusion between the sun and your subject, which lights the subject from every direction, creating a soft light. That's what the BlackDish does. Reflects off the black surface, making a lot more even, distributed, pleasing light, thus soft, diffuse light. Now, here's where a lot of people get confused with their scientific notations and a lot of things. And I understand everybody, has something that they want to say or what they feel. Now, here's the thing. Now, Anthony and a lot of other people who, have talked or created videos, here is where your premise is incorrect. When you think about black and you're thinking about light, you're not thinking from a place of flash. That's your problem. You're thinking of a place from continuous light. There was one guy who actually did a test with a continuous light through a snoot, shining on with a cologne bottle in the front, shining on the back of a piece of cardboard, white and then black. You're thinking from a place of continuous light. You're not thinking from a place of flash. Flash is 2 to 3 times more powerful than continuous LED. And that's the problem why you won't find it, because it's never been done. It's never been created. It's never been done before. You have to think from a place of flash, not a place from LED, not a place from continuous lighting. If I created a modifier that was designed to put over an LED light and it was all black, we would be having a very different conversation right now. Because yes, if this was the case of a continuous light or a continuous LED, then I would agree with you. I know the science. Light does not really reflect off of a continuous light or a continuous LED. It doesn't reflect the spectrum of lights and everything like that. We get that. We're not talking from a place of LED. We're talking from a place of flash. Therefore, it don't matter whether your surface is silver, white, or black. Flash is very powerful to bounce off of any of those surfaces. That's where your premise is incorrect. I've explained to you what soft light really is. Why do you think harsh light comes from silver or white? You can't say I'm going to turn down my power, because then you compromise exposing your model or your subject properly, just to try to get that soft light that you claim. But why do you think harsh light comes from a white or silver modifier or beauty dish? Why do you think it's really bright and then the shadows on the side, that transition that it talked about, that gradient, is a lot more defined in white or silver? Because it gives you more harsh light. That transition, that gradient is so much more defined in white or silver than it is in black, for one particular reason. Because black gives you a lot more evenly distributed light. It creates a softer light. The contrast, the transition between light and darkness, that transition, that gradient is more soft and evenly defined, creating a much smoother transition versus white and silver. You can't think from a place of LED or continuous light. You have to think from a place from flash. Therefore, flash will reflect off of any surface. With VFlats, we have used VFlats for a very long time. Nobody has ever said light absorbs in a V-flat. You use a V-flat, you put it on the side as a fill light, so light can bounce and hit that V-flat and bounce back into your subject, creating a nice contrast soft light on the side of them. You can put two on the side, use a main light, and it gives you just a nice soft light. You take the black away, you turn it to the white, guess what you get? A harsher, not necessarily harsh, because it is a V-flat, but you bounce light into a white V-flat, you bounce it back, it's going to be brighter, of course. So what I did, after all these years, I saw that. I took that same idea, I took that same concept, soft light, diffuse light, better contrast, smoother, much gradient transition. I took all of that idea, I took all of that concept, and I put it and created a black beauty dish. So anybody with the notion or understanding that black is going to absorb or soak up light, you're thinking from a place of LED and continuous light. You're not thinking from a place of flash, because it's never been done. You're not going to find it on the website. You're not going to find a bunch of ideologic, notions that this has to do with flash, because nobody's ever created one to actually test it and see. Now we talk about who this modifier is for. I want everybody to enjoy the all-new BlackDish. If you're a photographer who struggles with getting your lighting down, for years we've only been able to use white and silver. The harsh lighting from a white or silver modifier, you spend more time trying to overexpose your subject in Lightroom or Photoshop when you can actually be doing other editing to your work. You spend more time trying to circle that forehead, trying to circle those cheeks, trying to get everything balanced because of that. We spend a lot of time in Lightroom trying to do that for years, since the age of photography, or whenever we started using modifiers. We've been doing that for a long time, and you shoot and then you get your pictures back and like, they're so overexposed. I don't have to say no more about that. If you want the benefits of a more natural looking subject, the BlackDish is for you. Again, I want everybody to understand this. It is a tool that can be added to your arsenal of the everyday photographer. It is an amazing tool. I want every photographer on the planet to be able to add this Black Beauty Dish to their arsenal. That's what we're aiming for. Some of you have 5 to almost 20 modifiers in your garage or your house. But guess what? All of them are white or silver. They just are different sizes for different jobs, depending on the size that you need for that job, right? You got about 5 to 10, 20, 15 white and silver modifiers. They all do the same thing, just different sizes, right? Some of you have 5 to 10 different soft boxes in your house. They pretty much do the same thing, right? Just different sizes. It is a tool created to hopefully be able to do, you can use it really for any job. You know, whether you're a product photographer, whether you shoot, newborns, whether you shoot models, whether you shoot families, subjects, anything like that. I want you to be able to use this for anything that you need to get a better, even distributed light. I saw a problem and I fixed it. I lastly want to say thank you. Some of you have been extremely supportive. I've gotten emails from companies, I've gotten emails from people, individuals, and the outpouring of what I received is amazing. Some of you have been negative and very combative. It's okay, it's a business. We understand change, we understand growth, and we understand people don't know, the unknown. Just remember this, I'm a photographer just like you. Some of you have been following me since the beginning. Some of you have praised my work for years. Some of you have praised my teachings, whether I come to your city and do photo walks and photoshops and a lot of different things. You guys have been rocking with me for a very long time. So it's not that I'm doing this from a place that I don't know what I'm doing. Now, let's talk about this. Some people have stepped outside of their comfort zone and they saw a problem and they felt like their own invention, whatever the case may be, could help people. Take somebody like Peter McKinnon. He created an ND filter, which we have thousands. Created a backpack, coffee, and everything else. Nobody ever argued that. Why do we need another ND filter? Why do we need another backpack? We have those things, but he felt that he could bring something to the table. You got Lindsay Adderley. She got a Snoop. Amazing though. I love it. We have several other inventors. You got the Gary Fong, who came out with the Gary Fong Sphere. I have it, I love it, especially when I go do weddings and I'm shooting inside. You got Peter Hurley and a lot of other people. I'm not gonna get in all of them. I support all my brothers and sisters, regardless of the fact. If I don't like it, if I don't want to use it, then I'm not gonna use it. But I question to see if they ever received this amount of scrutiny. But they felt like they had something to help the photography community. They followed their dreams. And I do this daily to help out and educate YouTube and everybody else around me who has followed me as a professional photographer. As a Black entrepreneur, doing something for this community I already knew would be a challenge. It's different. I know how it works. And my business partner was a very strong, smart person. Didn't think that it was necessary to bring this up, but yes, I am Black, and a lot of those are of different ethnicity. That doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing or talking about. It does exactly what I designed it to do. But again, with all this, you have to think from a place of flash. Flash is like this, instantaneous. If you take a flash and you shine it, it doesn't have time to soak, absorb, and do everything else that people think it does. It bounces off of a surface, regardless of what that surface is. even when you use VFlats. You bounce light off of a black surface. You can still see it. It gives you that nice soft lighting as a rim light or a fill light or whatever you're using it for. Not a rim light, a fill light. I took that same idea and I put it in a beauty dish. So hopefully that clears up a lot of confusion for people. And I'm going to continue to bring you these videos. But today, guess what? I'm going to do a shoot for you guys really quick with white, silver, and black. Now this test, of course, was already done because we have to do this for R&D in the inception of the beauty dish. So this is not something that we have not done yet. Everybody knows that you're going to get a little bit of light loss because of the black. It's about a stop, probably like a stop and a half. I want to tell everybody one other thing. That is something that everybody already knew would happen. But the benefits that you get from using a black modifier outweighs any type of small light loss. On top of that, normally when you use a 34, 36, 38, 42, 46, 48 size modifier, you don't put a 200 watt strobe a lot of times in that. Now, if you do, that's up to you. I have nothing to do with that. But normally you use at least a 300 or a 400 watt strobe, preferably a 400 watt at least. But we use a 300 sometimes, use 400. So understand, we are still photographers. I would never use a small light source in the size of a 36, 38, or even 40, 42, 46 size modifier, all right? We have to be understanding about that. So yes, you still want to get some light loss, but the benefits of it is amazing. You have to think of the BlackDish as a big old ND filter for light intensity. It cuts the light intensity and it gives you amazing light. Size is not only the only thing that has to do with soft light. Somebody else said that. The only way to soften your light is the size of the modifier. You couldn't be further from the truth. Size contributes to the softness of light, but so does a black surface. It's a contributing factor. Don't think if you have, just because you have silver and you use a 42 or 46 size modifier, the size will contribute to a more softer diffuser light. However, it still will be bright. It contributes. It's not the factor. Size is not the factor. It is a contributing factor. A black surface, light bouncing off a black surface, is also a contributing factor, which is why you get a nice soft light, which is why you get a much smoother transition from that light to dark shadow area versus any other modifier. You have to understand that. So, without further ado, let's jump into the studio, and I'm going to show you a few shots with all three modifiers, and I am going to make the raw files available for you. Now, even when I give you the raw, and we understand that, even giving, and my partner, advised me this, even giving the raw files to people, some people will still have stuff to say. Some people, it still won't be enough. And that's okay. I am completely transparent in the inception and the building of this product, and I want everybody to enjoy it. So whatever I can do to make your lives a little bit easier, that's what I'm here for as a photographer. I'm here to educate, I'm here to influence, and I'm here to teach. All right, hey, what's up everybody? So you're probably gonna hear echo in here, and that's okay, but we're gonna go ahead and get to this. So we're out here, so basically for this test, we are gonna be using the black, silver, and the white. Now, there's always going to be somebody who's going to talk about the test and who's going to say things. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to get this as close as possible so you guys can see it, because we've already done this. So for this test, we're going to be using a 36-inch silver beauty dish, all right? Has a deflector plate in it, silver interior. We're going to be using the 42-inch white beauty dish with the deflector plate in it. And then we're gonna be using my 40-inch black beauty dish, all right? There's no way to get all of these to the same size because these are all different, all right? But what you can do is get them and put them kind of at the same distance so the deflector plate is hitting the model at the same spot, and we're gonna try to get them close so you guys can see accurately what they look like. The size of them really only come into play, you know, software light, or if you're trying to basically light up your whole subject. That's when size really comes into play. But if we keep them close, we should be able to get our readings correct. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be using all Westcott lights, all right? All Westcott FJ400s. I have my trigger right here, so we're gonna start off with the silver, which is on A, white is on B, black is on C. We're gonna be using the A1, and we're gonna be using the 35mm 1.2 from Sigma. So my tests are going to be as follows. We are going to shoot everything at the same power, okay? And we're gonna shoot each one so you guys can see the light fall off and how each one looks at one particular power, all right? Then what we're gonna do is I am going to dial in each one to get them all exactly the same, depending on what power. So if I have to increase the power on one, we're gonna try that. We're gonna get to that on white or silver or the black to get them all the same. We're gonna put it right in the middle because I know on Godox I can put it on a half, and I know I'm half the power of a 400. So with the FJ400, since it goes in increments like 1, 2, 3, 4, we will do 4.5, which is right in the middle. So we're gonna shoot at 1/200th of a second, f5.6, since I know a lot of you guys shoot at f5.6 in the studio. In ISO 200, our power is going to be at 4.5, which is half power, all right? Let's do it. So starting off with the silver, here we go.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood.
All right, so that was shot at half power. Now I'm going to shoot to where I can get all of them equal. All right, I want to shoot where I can get all of them equal to look the same. All right, so I'm going to go up about 1.5 stops, I guess, because I know that's about 1.5 stops is the amount of light fall off from the BlackDish. All right, so.
Little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it.
That was a few test shots that I hope you guys appreciate it. I think when you see these, you'll be able to see the difference in the gradient and the contrast and a much smoother transition from the lights to the darks. I absolutely love this product, man. I think it's going to be something that, again, it's a tool that I think everybody will be able to use in their bag. It provides such a great thing. Remember, I'm an on-location photographer, and I've used this on location for quite some time. And again, you have to think of this from a standpoint of flash, not a standpoint of continuous lighting. Flash, it bounces with no problem. Again, the light loss, I think the benefits that you get, even with the small amount of light loss, it's incredible. It keeps things looking so much more, I think, natural. And I think when you see the pictures, you can look at her and you can look at like the reds and the greens and the blues and all of those things and kind of tell that the black keeps a more natural look. It keeps the colors, because when the flash hits this, everything is a little bit bright. Everything is brightened. Everything is everything is intensified because of the flash, because of the surface in each of the beauty dishes. I just love the black because I think it keeps things nice and smooth, and it keeps things it just keeps things much more, gives you a much more natural look. Again, being completely transparent, you lose about a stop and a half, depending on your power, depending on how much you're closing it down. If you're planning on using this in the studio, some people might say they might lose more. Some people might say they might lose less. It really just honestly depends, depending on the detail. But again, it's a tool that you use for particular things. A barber doesn't use the same clippers to do their whole head. They just don't. You have different tools. A makeup artist doesn't use a brush to do all the makeup on a model or their subject, or they don't use the same makeup on everything. It is a tool that you can use, and it is amazing on location, and it does an amazing job in studio also. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, the BlackDish is coming, and I really hope you guys pick it up, use it as a tool, because it does what it is designed to do. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in some more BlackDish tests. Holla, peace, we out. Woo, Jesus.